Have you ever wondered what the world was like before the Great Flood? What secrets did humanity hold, and how did one man's faith change the course of history? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and impactful stories ever told, the story of Noah, the Great Flood, and the rebirth of humanity. But before we embark on this epic journey, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you won't miss any of our future explorations into the mysteries of history and faith. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more content like this to you. Now, let's set the scene. In the days leading up to the Great Flood, the earth was not the harmonious place we might imagine. According to the book of Genesis, humanity had strayed far from the path intended by the Creator. Corruption, violence, and moral decay had spread across the lands. In Genesis 6 verse 5, it is written, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." Imagine a world where every thought and action was bent toward evil, a society teetering on the brink of self-destruction. This was the reality of pre-flood Earth. Yet, amid this darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. One man stood out among the rest, a beacon of righteousness in a world gone astray, Noah. Described as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, Noah walked faithfully with God. His unwavering faith and integrity caught the attention of the Creator, setting the stage for an extraordinary mission. God revealed to Noah a plan both devastating and redemptive, to cleanse the earth of its corruption through a great flood but to preserve a remnant to begin anew. Noah was instructed to build an ark, a massive vessel that would safeguard his family and pairs of every living creature. Think about the enormity of this task. Building an ark of such magnitude was no small feat, especially in a time without modern tools or technology. Yet, Noah did not hesitate. He followed God's instructions to the letter, demonstrating not only his faith but also his commitment to obedience. As Noah began construction, imagine the reactions of those around him: mockery, disbelief, perhaps even hostility. But Noah remained steadfast. He understood the gravity of what was to come and the importance of his role in the salvation of life on earth. Despite the skepticism of his contemporaries, Noah continued his work. The ark was to be made of cypress wood, coated inside and out with pitch to make it waterproof. It was to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high, a colossal structure by any standard. As the ark neared completion, God gave Noah further instructions. "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation." Genesis 7 verse 1. Noah, his wife, his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives were to enter the ark, along with pairs of every kind of animal. Picture the scene: animals of all kinds making their way toward the ark, guided by an unseen hand. The sky begins to darken, and a sense of foreboding fills the air. Then the rains came. For 40 days and 40 nights, the heavens opened, and the fountains of the deep burst forth. Waters rose, covering even the highest mountains. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out, except for those safe within the ark. The ark floated upon the waters for 150 days. Imagine the isolation, the uncertainty, the faith required to endure such an ordeal. Yet, Noah and his family remained hopeful, trusting in God's promise. Finally, the waters began to recede. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. After sending out a raven and then a dove multiple times, Noah finally received a sign. The dove returned with an olive leaf, signaling that the waters had abated. God then commanded Noah to come out of the ark. "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you." Genesis 8 verses 16 to 17. Stepping onto dry land must have been both a relief and a profound moment of reflection. The world as they knew it was gone, a blank slate, a new beginning. In gratitude, Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered sacrifices. Moved by this act, God made a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy all life with a flood. The sign of this covenant was the rainbow, a symbol of hope and a reminder of God's mercy. But the story doesn't end there. Noah and his family were tasked with repopulating the earth. Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. God told them, Genesis 9 verse 1. This command set the stage for the spread of humanity across the globe. Each of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, would become the progenitors of nations, each playing a unique role in the unfolding human story. Now, let's delve deeper into the lives of Noah's sons and the roles they played in shaping the course of human history. Understanding their stories offers us insights into the origins of different cultures and peoples around the world. Starting with Shem, the eldest son. Shem is often associated with the peoples of the Middle East and is considered the ancestor of the Semitic peoples, including the Hebrews and Arabs. His lineage is of particular significance because from it came Abraham, the patriarch of Israel. God's promise to Abraham was profound. Through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed. Genesis 22 verse 18. This blessing highlights the pivotal role of Shem's descendants in the spiritual heritage of monotheistic faiths. Shem's sons, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram, became the forefathers of various nations. For instance, Ashur is linked to the Assyrians, and Aram is associated with the Arameans. The influence of Shem's lineage is evident in the development of ancient civilizations and religious traditions that continue to impact the world today. Next, we have Japheth, the second son. Japheth's descendants are believed to have spread into Europe and parts of Asia. His sons, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras, are associated with various peoples and regions across these continents. For example, Gomer is linked to the Sumerians and possibly the early Celts. Madai is associated with the Medes of Persia, and Javan is connected to the Ionians of Greece. The spread of Japheth's lineage represents the expansion and diversity of cultures throughout Europe and Asia. In Genesis 9 verse 27, Noah says, "May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem." This blessing not only speaks to the expansion of Japheth's descendants, but also hints at a future relationship between their lineages. Finally, we come to Ham, the youngest son. Ham's descendants are traditionally associated with Africa and parts of the Near East. His sons, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan, became the progenitors of various African and Middle Eastern peoples. Cush is linked to Ethiopia and Sudan, regions that gave rise to powerful and influential cultures. One of Cush's most notable descendants is Nimrod, described as a mighty warrior on the earth. Genesis 10 verse 8. Nimrod is credited with founding significant cities like Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. The story of the Tower of Babel is closely connected to Nimrod. Humanity, speaking a single language, decided to build a city and a tower that reaches to the heavens to make a name for themselves. But God, seeing their pride and potential for mischief, confused their language and scattered them over the face of the earth. Genesis 11 verse 9. This event explains the origin of diverse languages and the dispersion of peoples. Mizraim is associated with Egypt, one of the most remarkable civilizations in history. The Egyptians made significant contributions to architecture, medicine, and writing. Their interactions with the Hebrews, including the story of the Exodus, are central narratives in the Bible. Put is believed to be linked to Libya and other regions in North Africa, though less is detailed about his lineage in the scriptures. Canaan, the fourth son, is particularly significant. The land of Canaan, which his descendants inhabited, would later become the promised land for the Israelites. The Canaanites played a crucial role in the biblical narratives, often representing the challenges and moral tests faced by the Israelites. Now, it's important to address a sensitive topic associated with Ham and his son Canaan, the so-called curse of Canaan. After the flood, an incident occurred where Ham saw his father Noah naked and told his brothers, who respectfully covered their father without looking. When Noah awoke and learned what had happened, he said, "Cursed be Canaan! The lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." Genesis 9 verse 25. This passage has been misinterpreted throughout history, sometimes used to justify reprehensible practices like slavery and racism. However, it's crucial to understand that the curse was specifically directed at Canaan, not all of Ham's descendants, and was fulfilled in the biblical narrative through the subjugation of the Canaanites by the Israelites. Misusing this scripture to promote hatred or discrimination contradicts the overarching messages of justice and love in the Bible. It's a reminder of the importance of responsible interpretation and the dangers of taking texts out of context. Returning to the narrative, each of Noah's sons was given a role in repopulating the earth, spreading out into different regions, and establishing various cultures and nations. Their descendants carried with them stories, traditions, and beliefs that would shape civilizations. The longevity of people during this time is another fascinating aspect. While the Bible doesn't specify Ham's exact age at death, it suggests that early humans lived for several centuries. This extended lifespan allowed them to witness the growth of their families and the development of societies. As for their final resting places, the Bible doesn't provide specific details about where Ham or his brothers were buried. However, various traditions and extra-biblical texts offer theories. Some suggest that Ham was buried in Africa, perhaps in regions associated with his descendants. In Ethiopia, for example, traditions celebrate the lineage of Cush and include rich myths and legends. One of the most famous stories is that of the Queen of Sheba and her encounter with King Solomon. According to Ethiopian tradition, the Queen of Sheba, also known as Makeda, visited Solomon to test his wisdom. Impressed by his answers and character, their meeting led to a union that produced a son, Menelik I, who is said to have founded the Solomonic dynasty in Ethiopia. This story highlights the interconnectedness of different cultures and the influence of Noah's descendants across the world. In Egypt, the descendants of Mizraim established a civilization renowned for its architectural marvels like the pyramids, advances in mathematics and medicine, and a complex religious system. Their interactions with the Israelites are significant, particularly the story of Moses leading the Hebrews out of Egyptian bondage, a narrative of liberation and faith. The stories of Put's descendants are less detailed but contribute to the tapestry of North African cultures, each with unique traditions and histories. The Canaanites, despite their conflicts with the Israelites, also played a role in shaping the cultural and historical landscape of the Near East. Their cities, practices, and interactions are woven throughout the biblical narratives. Understanding these lineages enriches our comprehension of human history and the shared heritage that connects us. It reminds us that despite our diverse cultures and backgrounds, we all trace back to common roots. As we reflect on the story of Noah, the Great Flood, and his sons, we're reminded of themes that are timeless: faith, obedience, renewal, and the consequences of our actions. These ancient narratives continue to offer lessons and provoke thought in our modern world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's most profound stories. If you found this exploration enlightening, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, by subscribing to our channel, you'll stay connected with more stories that delve deep into the mysteries and wonders of our world.